إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد. All praises belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, our sustainer, the one we owe undoubtedly amounts of thanks and appreciation. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us, inshallah, and keep us on His straight path, inshallah. One of the topics that does not get enough attention, as many aspects of Islam, subhanallah, is the element of the reverence or the sanctity, the importance of the rights of the believers. Now, this is something that has been sort of forgotten, forsaken, abandoned, where we truly take care of the rights of each other as believers, as brothers and sisters in Islam. Unfortunately, one of the things that is first taken out of context or not followed is the concept of the sanctity of the believer. Now, in front of the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the drop or the blood or the soul or the existence of a believer, a servant of His, has greater sanctity than the Kaaba itself. However, we are pushed with forces of Shaitan and his allies to honor and respect the sacred elements of Islam. There are many, the Kaaba itself, the Masajid al-Haram, there's many important things we have. But the believer, it's him or herself, is forsaken, it's disregarded. And usually, whatever is been ordered from us to do, or ordered for us to take care of and establish the fara'id, we tend to forget about it and focus on the more trivial aspects of the religion. Because the more sanctified, the more sacred, the more important it is hard and difficult to do. So we find a way to give up on something and then make something else important. Simple case where one person came to me and said, "Brother, I have not prayed, my Salat al-Jum'ah for many years. Or my prayers are, I try my best, but I never miss Salat al-Eid. Alhamdulillah, Eid is intact." So I said, "Brother, I want to explain the concept to you. which is more important? Which will you be asked about? Salat al-Eid or the 5 prayers or the Salat al-Jum'ah that you're missing every week? If you miss Salat al-Eid for the rest of your life and you never miss Salat al-Jum'ah or the 5 prayers, you will be okay. Now, they're all important. You must try your best to do all of it, including Salat al-Eid and the Nawafil and so on. But you cannot say, I'm going to do the extra and forget the real thing. Now, the same thing with this concept of we take the trivial elements of this religion, very important. The places, the spaces, the environments, the certain buildings, but the actual believer themselves are forsaken and forgotten. And injustice would be, unleashed upon these people without any sort of feeling of remorse or guilt. So there's a hadith, a beautiful hadith, that the Prophet ﷺ discussed. And it just takes us back to the original religion of Islam. Sometimes, and this is how shaitan works, he does not work by saying, disrespect everyone in front of you. He says, no. It's step by step, and it's called التغيرات البطيئة, slow, finite changes that would switch a whole mentality and society from what they're supposed to do and take care of what's most important to taking care of what's sort of not as important, and give this more importance and give this less importance. So shaitan doesn't tell you don't stop praying. Say no, everything that's simple and easy to do that is not fard, over glorify it, take it to the next level. But this, you have the choice. If you want to pray or not, it's up to you. But Salat al-Eid, or for example something like this, never miss it. We're not saying to miss the Salat al-Eid Salah, but it's understanding, putting everything in its place. So there's a beautiful hadith. The Prophet ﷺ discusses how we should treat each other. And this is one of the most important things as a believer today. If we say, I'm a believer, I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, then what is your role to one another? And this is something that is not discussed enough. Beautiful hadith narrated by Imam Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, and perhaps you've heard of this before, he said, لا تحاسدوا, do not envy one another. And the envy in this element is al-hasad, is wishing for the other person. It's not saying, there's one element of praising and wishing good upon someone. So, mashallah, nice new car, nice new house, new child, new family. Mashallah, may Allah give him barakah. You're not envying him. You are praising what you see, and you're thanking Allah for that. The real envy is wishing, or izalat al-ni'ma al-akharin. You're wishing that other person does not have that. You're saying, I wish I have for example, he has a new child or a new car, so I wish I have that car and he doesn't get it. I wish he loses his car. Or I wish he loses his house. I wish I have that child, he should not have that child. That is the worst thing you can do. Wishing harm upon others for your own personal benefit. And unfortunately, this is a big pandemic. He said, do not envy one another. وَلَا تَنَاجَشُوا. Do not, and listen to this, do not inflate prices by overbidding against one another. Do not inflate prices. In today's markets, we see overbidding of everything. In property, sometimes in cars. If you're able to sell someone a price that is not market value, but you just for an extra dollar, and if you think you can, and because you can, then that is also going against the hurmah of your Muslim brother or sister. So usually, it's a good practice to say, you know what, I'll give you a deal. I'll make it easier for you, and for you to obtain this item or this product, or this service, for example. Sometimes we see prices that are through the roof for schools or for whatever the case may be. It's like, yeah, we're trying to come to your center, but your prices are way beyond. And it's not reasonable or suitable. This is a hadith, please pay attention. وَلَا تَبَاغَضُوا. And do not hate one another. Do not harbor resentment, hate, aggression. The fact that he's not from my town, I'm not from his town. He's not from my country. I don't speak the same language, and so on. Again, these are just really high level points of most of the problems of this ummah. وَلَا تَدَابَرُوا, and do not harbor malice against one another. Again, another form of sort of deep hate and resentment, discrimination, and so on. وَلَا يَبِعْ بَعْضُكُمْ عَلَى بَيْعِ بَعْضٍ, and do not enter into a commercial transaction when others have entered into that transaction, basically cutting somebody off. You heard of somebody buying a property or a house or a car, and then you go overbid that person, for example, and you get into the transaction and you somehow kick them out. This is Islam. When somebody says, oh, Islam, brother, alhamdulillah, I pray, I fast, and I'm good to 5 salawat and 5 prayers and pillars, and I'm good to go. This is how you live and die by your religion. It's al-akhlaq. It's with etiquettes, knowledge and manners and etiquettes and usloob, with Allah's respect, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and with the creation. وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا, and be, as servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, brothers. Al-Muslim أخو المسلم. The Muslim is a brother of a Muslim, and the Muslimah is a sister of a Muslimah. So all this, in summary, it means watch the way you talk, the way you do business, what you wish upon others, what you do not wish upon others, how you interact with one another. It's not just the look of a Muslim. It's the deep element of the religion from within our hearts. المسلم أخو المسلم لا يظلمه ولا يحقره. He does not do injustice towards him, and he does not look down upon him and see himself as better than the others. This is something we all have a challenge with. If one person has something a bit more than the other, and who is he? He's nothing. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. This guy's nothing. He's just a new student, or a new graduate, or just a child. Who cares? It's that pride that we have against one another. A Muslim is a brother of another Muslim. He neither oppresses him nor looks down upon him, nor does he humiliate him. وَلَا يُخْذِلُهُ. He does not humiliate him. He does not make him feel like he's less. Didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the Quran, وَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. Do not ascribe purity to yourselves. Maybe you give extra charity, maybe you do extra salawat, maybe you're a half of the Quran. How do you know that makes you a better person? Maybe the one beside you done something you have no idea about, but عند Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala azim. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the greatest amongst us. But we, based on our measures, it doesn't fit our criteria. And it's very important. We've seen in the Sahaba, when Bilal radiallahu anhu was once a slave, then he was freed. He became the voice of Islam at that time. His footsteps were heard in paradise. But according to the Arabs at that time, according to the nobles at that time, he was considered just another slave to be dishonored. Who cares? So what? Bilal, so what? Who is he anyways? He is nothing. We can do whatever we want to him. He has no status. That's based on, again, our measures. The Prophet ﷺ, then he pointed to his chest, and he said, "At-taqwa ha-huna, at-taqwa ha-huna, at-taqwa ha-huna." Taqwa is right here. Taqwa is the result of these actions. When you say, I will not look down upon my brother or sister, I would raise them up, I'd respect them, I'd honor them, I'd give them a deal when I can, I would make things affordable, I would speak to them gently, I would not, just because maybe I speak Arabic and they don't speak Arabic, that I'm better than him. There are Arabs that end up in the fire, and we know this. It's not about where you come from, what language you speak. It's about the taqwa. And this is the message of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ, he then said, it is enough evil for a Muslim to hold his Muslim brother in contempt. It is enough evil that you have a problem with your Muslim brother or sister, and you're not solving it, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. There's another hadith, it says, من أحب الأعمال الله سبحانه وتعالى, from the best and most beloved actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إدخال السرور على المسلم أو على أخوك المسلم, is bring upon happiness and joy to your Muslim brother or sister. Whether that's through invitation, when you call them for invitation, or you surprise them with a gift. Tahadu, tahabu, you give a gift, you create more love. Or whatever you do, if this is one of the most beloved actions to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the complete opposite of that would be the most min abghad or min akrah, yani from the worst actions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would hate. The least of it would be to make your Muslim brother or sister angry or upset or hurt. It would be the complete opposite of this hadith. So if this is the measure, how are we dealing with each other? Is it just selfish worship, just me, myself and I, or is it me and the community as well? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to judge us, not just based on this individual or just ourselves, but how we've interacted as well. He then says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all things of a Muslim are sacred. Al-Muslim ala al-Muslim haram. The Muslims for each other are sacred to each other. Damuhu wa maluhu wa irduhu. His blood, first thing is going to be checked. And unfortunately we see a lot of blood spilled today. From where we come from, we see a lot of fighting. And another hadith talked about how the Prophet said, don't go, he said, do not become kuffar. He said, the Sahaba said, how are we going to do that? He said, well, تَضْرِبُوا عَنَاقَ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا. You'll be smiting the necks of each other. You'll be forgetting the reason. The killer doesn't know why he's killing, and the one who's dying doesn't know why he's dying. It's just bloodshed. And he said, this is how you become kuffar all over again. When you kill each other for no apparent reason, and that's when you become disbelievers. And that's the first thing we'll be asked about, is the blood. He says, so the sacred elements of a Muslim, for his Muslim brother in faith, is blood, his property or his wealth, and his honor and dignity. So be careful how we interact with each other on an element of the blood, the wealth and properties, when transactions, business, and the dignity, reputation. Some of us backbite, some of us gossip, some of us destroy mountains of good deeds with a statement. And it's very important for us to be careful, because on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would judge each and every single one of us, but we also have to clear accounts between each other. And this is what is going to, there's a waiting room before Jannah for those who are destined to paradise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then say to the believers, you have to clear the accounts between each other right now. You have to still clear the accounts. So if you said something about someone, or if you harmed someone somehow, it's best you apologize in this world, eat up the embarrassment of it in this world, ask that person for forgiveness, give the rights back if you took something. If you overcharged someone, refund it. If you hurt someone somehow financially, spiritually, physically, whatever the case may be, get your apologies out now. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawbah today, because this is not just a few good words. This is the deen of Islam in a nutshell. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us steadfast, understand the true message of the Prophet ﷺ, understand that our cultures is one thing and Islam is something entirely different. If our culture or our backgrounds works with Islam, if it يتناسق مع Islam, then good. If our culture sort of mixes with Islam and it achieves its boundaries, then that's okay, we can accept it. But if our backgrounds differ, then we put this away and we keep this. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us steadfast on this path, inshallah. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ويسأل منكم كل بذنب فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أما بعد. One of the most beautiful ahadith in terms of appreciating the Muslim or understanding the seriousness of serving one another. Some of us may say, okay, alhamdulillah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to just stay away from the Muslims. Every time you deal with a Muslim, something bad happens. It's a kind of a rolling statement we have. You know, if you deal with others, everything's fine, but if you deal with a Muslim brother or sister, you're going to have lots of issues. So there's a hadith as well. It just explains to us a couple more things. And Abdullah bin Umar رضي الله عنهما قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Again, another hadith, narrated by Imam Bukhari as well. المسلم أخو المسلم, the Muslim is a brother of a Muslim. لا يظلمه ولا يسلمه. He does not harm him in any way. He does not do injustice towards him. من كان في حاجة أخيه كان الله سبحانه وتعالى في حاجته. Whoever is there to support his Muslim brother and help him and take care of his affairs and his needs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of your affairs and your needs as much as you care about others. So sometimes it may be a challenge. We see a lot of tasks that may come our way of picking up somebody or helping somebody to settle or helping a family to find a job or education, whatever. There's so many things we can find and it takes a lot of your time. It can be difficult. But as much as you are giving, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give back to you as well. That family or that person will make dua for you, which will be accepted, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of you as much as you've taken care of the others. وَمَنْ فَرَّجَ عَلَى مُسْلِمٍ كُرْبَةً فَرَّجَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ يَوْمَ كُرْبَةً مِنْ كُرْبَاتِ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. Whoever relieves a difficulty upon his Muslim brother or sister, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will relieve him of the many challenges that we will face on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And this is not a simple statement, by the way. This is not something, okay, we memorized it as children. If you do one thing towards your brother or sister to relieve them from a pain or a hardship or a difficulty, there are many more challenging and difficulties on Yawm al-Qiyamah, al-fitan, from ahwal Yawm al-Qiyamah, from the challenges and from the horrors of Yawm al-Qiyamah, that we would need every bit of relief for that. And you'd wish you've done something in this world to help you in that world. Some of the Sahaba, on their daily basis, as part of their routine, before they go to the market and so on, they would ask the elders, does anybody need anything? We're going downtown, for example. We are going somewhere. You need a ride? Do you need something from the market? Do you need some medication? Do you need food? Do you need anything? Let us know because we can go and bring it back. It was part of their culture. It was part of their behavior. So we need to embody this. We need to, maybe we have it, maybe our children don't have it yet. They see that as, oh my God, here we go again. Another ask, another need. These people just always call my name every single day. I'm tired of it, I'm fed up. I can't take it anymore. That's not the attitude we're looking for as a believer. A believer says, you know what, if I help somebody now, Allah's going to help me for that one deed. He will help me 10 times on the day when I need it the most. من ستر مسلما, and finally, من ستر مسلما, ستر الله يوم القيامة. Whoever protects his Muslim brother or sister, who does not harm him behind the scenes, or does not, yes, and here's the thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى. When you do a good deed, a good sadaqah, some of us, alhamdulillah, we've passed through level 1, we went out and we helped, but in hindsight, we're like, Ya Allah, this guy, this sister, every day they call me, every day they do this, you talk and you spread things. Yes, it was difficult, you spent 3 hours of your day, but now you're going to destroy your mountain of goodness with a few statements. You may remind this person one day, oh Tara, don't forget I helped you that day. You moved, you have to help me move now. Let's not have it like this. When we do something, let's do it properly for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's get the maximum capacity. The reason why I brought this topic is because this is something we deal with on a daily basis. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Actions are by intentions. If your intention is to do good and you want Allah to accept it, you're going to do the work anyways. You're going to shop anyways. You're going to buy clothes for your kids anyways. You're going to feed your family. You're going to work hard day and night. Just do it for the sake of Allah and get the reward of it while you do it. No need to break your back and not get the reward for it as well. You're going to break your back in any case, do it and also get some hasanat that you will see in the hereafter as well. May I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us, understand the importance of serving our Muslim brothers and sisters, serving our community, and there are levels, there are darajat. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the a'la daraja in Jannah inshallah, and to keep us away from the fire and from his punishment. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم أعز الإسلام وانصر المسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام وانصر المسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد سبحانك ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استقيم محتجين. A good dua to say, just to summarize this topic is Allahumma istakhdimna wa la tastabdilna. Oh Allah, make us of those who serve others. Utilize us, not switch us with others that we don't get that benefit inshallah. الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Assalamu alaikum. Just a quick announcement for next week, inshallah. The Salat al-Jum'ah will be at the first at 12:30, second will be at 1:30, inshallah. Just an hour behind, inshallah. So.